Okay, I'm going to give it a second and see if it connects because it kept jumping off of Facebook. So I will check here in a minute and see. Okay, I think we might be there. I'm going to give you guys a second to, let's see if we're on YouTube. Part 3. I think we might be there. We'll see. If you're there and you can see this, say hello. I might play a little intro song to see if I don't even have any of my clips on here. Okay. Let's try this. Who do we got? Do we got anybody there? All right. Well, I believe that we are back on. Yep. That's the one that I tried this 3 times. Facebook wasn't connecting properly, so that's okay. So I'm going to add a couple video files here while you are there. Say hello. We've got, okay, so Gina's back. We've got clip 4. That's what tells, my son would crack up because we were talking about that today. That when there are things that try to stop you from doing something good, it's the other side. there are some things that when you're trying to do good, people just don't want you to do good. All right, let me get into, we got clip 6. I got just a couple clips to add in my file here. But yeah, my laptop, like it just froze. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't move. And, oh wait, we can remove that one. I'm just getting a couple things set up here so that we're good. And then, yes, I know that, Sissy. That's what I was saying. I believe it. Okay. Because this is a deep topic. Okay, so we're back on. So if anybody was watching on YouTube, hopefully you can find us. But so here we go. This is when it gets even crazier. All right. I got married. I am paying for my certification for John Maxwell team that I had to ask my mom for money for, even though I was making really good money in a corporate leadership position. That's part of the control, is that you just don't have control over some of those things. When you're made to ask, it belittles you. I hate that feeling. I really hate it. I still hate it. It still triggers trauma for me. It makes me, I hate it. But at the same time, sometimes you do need help. And when you've been made to feel bad just for asking for help, it's a really, it takes a lot to push through those moments. And it's not even just like a pride and ego thing. It's a true anxiety, trauma that is now another layer that you have to deal with, you have to cope with, you have to learn to navigate your way through. There's so much complex emotion that comes from being in these types of relationships, and they happen slowly. You don't even know they're happening in the beginning until one day you look up and you're like what the hell, right? So life hit like a freight train just before my licensing, just before it was like going to be time, when I was scheduled to go give a speech in a room full of like nearly 5,000 people. There's all these people, we're all at round tables. Like, I felt equal parts terrified and ready, but I didn't know anyone there, but I knew deep down I was stepping into the next right thing for my life. Then the call came, emergency neck surgery. Everything stopped. The doctors didn't sugarcoat it. Paralysis, a wheelchair, or worse. One moment I was dreaming of stages and microphones. The next I was signing consent forms and staring down risks that could take everything. My surgeon asked if he could pray over me before they rolled me back. I said yes. And in that moment, I felt seen and knew everything would be all right, that God was with us. Now, I want to share this because I still have a neck scar, but I want to actually show you so that you get a visual. This was the day of my neck surgery. They had to cut me from the front, and I had the draining tube and all of that. And I was at my mom's house, and it was horrible. And we're going to talk about that. Why was I at my mom's house? Why was I at my mom's house? And this is another, the way I look at it, another avenue to stop that good stuff, to stop that progress. This neck surgery, I do believe, and I was told shortly after, I still have kind of like a mound on my back. Like I feel like a hunchback. And it was explained to me that it was from being in fight and flight mode for years. That being in a toxic environment full of fight and drama, in trauma, in fear, and all of that anxiety, that when you stay in that fight or flight mode, you actually like start shrinking yourself. And so much of this pressure, it like physically changed my body. And that might be hard for people to understand, but it physically changed my body. Not only did I gain like 50 pounds to hide myself, it's a coping mechanism, but it physically like altered my body when you're in that type of a fearful environment. And that's a true thing. That was told to me, that was a result. So with this neck surgery, you know, they'd explain that they had to pin nerve or put pins all over and monitor the nerves. And it was just a very serious surgery. But I recovered at my mom's house. And I share these things. That's why this chapter is one of the hardest for me personally. It's one of the saddest, because I have to explain these things for people to grasp the magnitude of the emotional abuse. Emotional abuse is different than getting beat up in the face. Both hurt. One leaves scars on the outside that will heal. The other people don't see. The other breaks you down inside that you're afraid to even say out loud. And because it can be hidden, you're able to play it off because you don't have anything that you have to cover up with makeup or anything. It's inside. So you just absorb it and absorb it and absorb it. And it starts to rot you from the inside. That's what it does. So I'm sharing these bits and pieces. Yes, Christina, scars on the inside. Emotional abuse is harder to heal. Hi, Judy. Absolutely. So when I showed that picture, that was the day one. That was me just getting home from the surgery at my mom's house. We kept one of our, because by now we had multiple puppies, because I kept wanting puppies to just love me. But we kept one at my mom's house so that, you know, I could hold him and keep him near. But I told everyone that I had to stay at my mom's house because of our bigger dogs. I told everyone that it was safer for me to be at my mom's house because I didn't know like how the other dogs would be with me, if they would jump on me and things like that. Clearly, I could have stayed in my bedroom and shut the door, but I told everybody that I had to stay at my mom's house when the truth was harder. My husband openly admitted he didn't want to take care of me. He had to work. And for 2 days, He drove past my mom's house and never came in, never stopped in to see me, never stopped to see how I was doing. He had to literally drive past my mom's house to get to our house. We were just a mile away from each other, like not, I mean, maybe 2 miles, maybe. I don't even think that much. But so for 2 days, he drove past my mom's house, never stopped by, never came in. My mom, could watch the window and see if he was going to pop on by. And I kept pretending I didn't really notice. But he never checked on me after surgery. Not once. He said he couldn't, that he had to feed the dogs. Not even 5 minutes to say hi or see how my incision was healing. Nothing. So if you can imagine, you're going in for surgery that basically could have killed you, left you paralyzed, all the things. You come out, you make it, you're surviving. You already have to stay at your mom so that you're taken care of. But to literally be told, like, I got to feed the dogs, I can't come see you. The part that I need to explain about this, why this is so hard now. Not because I'm still in it, not because I still feel the emotion. The forgiveness has happened. God has gifted me an amazing, beautiful gift of forgiveness. I am not held by that trauma or that pain any longer. That's why I can talk about it. That's why I want people to know that if you are feeling this way, if you are in this place, you are not alone. And there is help. That, reach out, talk about it. There are people that will understand without judgment. There are a lot of people that will judge too, but there are a lot of people that won't. But what is hard for me now, when I think about these moments, is knowing now that there was another woman in his life. Did he drive by for those days to feed the dogs, or was he with her? All of that control, all of that emotional abuse, I know now there was somebody else there. Even at our wedding, there was somebody else. But I didn't know it then. So that's why when I sit in this place of writing this, when I was writing this, I had to go through a lot of emotion, things that I had kind of forgot about. Because, when I discovered the affair, it was after he passed, and that was a trauma of its own. But when I was going back, remembering all of these moments, it dawned on me that, oh my gosh, she was there. That I'm cut from the front of my neck over, and he can't even check on me, but she was there. They were texting. They were talking. They were seeing each other. And you have to do something with that. And so I am so grateful that God gave me this project to be able to look at everything through the lens of his love. And that's what we're here for. Look at those things that you've been through. Look at those painful experiences that you've endured, but look at them through the lens of God's love. Us as human beings can be cruel. Us as human beings, we have faults. We have failures. We can be downright mean. We can be ugly. But God is always there. And God always loves us. But like I say, and I'll say it again and again, he gave us free will. So he's going to love us regardless. Whether we're doing the good, the bad, the ugly, he still loves us. He still loves all of us. And I had to remember that. He still loved him too. Maybe he wasn't pleased with how he was treating his wife, but he still loved him too. God still loves the person that's driving you nuts right now. God still, he might not be happy. He might not be pleased, but he still loves. And that's the gift of this book. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Queen. So let's play one more clip. And then we'll get into another phase.
Every stage I've dreamed of, where the light would shine, feels so far away as I linger here confined.
They mock me in the silence while I fight just to breathe, but you whisper in my spirit, making my heart bleed.
All right, so where we are right now, and I actually have one more photo I wanted to pull up because this is like a day after my surgery, a day or two, and you can see my nasty scar, but man, did I still have my lipstick on, which come to find out the years later, this is actually the photo that inspired me to start Besitos Beauty. So I just want to let you know, like, that surgery was real. Like, that really happened, and it was a horrible time in my life. But here's what happened during that silence. Okay. I'm at my mom's house. My husband clearly says, I got to feed the dogs. I can't come and check on you or even say hello for like 2 days. In that silence, when God literally silenced me, I could not speak. That's when he started telling me I was going to write a book. And I remember thinking, oh, my God, you got the wrong person, because I don't even like to read. And I don't like to be read to. I had no desire to write a book. It was never a thought in my mind. None of it. But I started hearing it. So in that gap, in that time of me being silenced, me being distanced, I could actually rest at my mom's house. I could actually heal. And I know that if I would have been home, I would have, no matter whether I had a tube in my neck or not, it would have still been fighting. There was a time where I went in for a biopsy, and in the parking lot, he was fighting with me in the truck as I'm walking in for a biopsy to figure out if I have cancer. That's how selfish they can be. In that moment, I thought, can't we please can you be here for me? Like, be here for me? I'm about to find out if I have cancer. And no, we were still fighting over him, over something that he was needing or lacking or not happy about. So I do know now that distance of having to be at my mom's house was a blessing. I was able to heal. My mom did take care of me. She fed me. She made my soup. I was able to sleep and not feel guilty about sleeping. I still carry a guilt about sleep because, by God, if I slept in, oh my gosh, like, if he was up at 4 every day, heaven forbid I like sleep in. So I still carry these certain anxieties that my nervous system is, I'm still really working hard to work through these things, even still today. So I know that being at my mom's house was a blessing. I was able to sleep. I was able to not do anything and to just rest and to heal. But God used that distance. He used that silence to bring that peace to me and to shut me up long enough with no fighting, no shouting, no arguing, to speak to me. So sometimes when you are placed in those situations, and like I said, guys, we might be here for a little bit longer. Sometimes when you are placed in those situations that you feel just don't make sense, or you feel like it's unfair, or it's not the way that you wish that it would be, chances are, if you just listen, God probably has a message for you in there. So he started telling me he was going to write a book. And I'm like, I think you got the wrong person. I don't know if you've ever tried to tell God that you think he made a mistake, but he kind of chuckled at me. And so one night, and my sister will remember this, one night I'm back home now. And I'm still having this like for days and days. God, I think you got the wrong person. God, I think you got the wrong person. And so then one night I'm standing at the bathroom sink, Colgate sensitive toothpaste starts flowing down my forearm. He stopped me and he said, "You will write a book. It will be called Broken Stronger." And I stopped. And the toothpaste just like literally is just like rolling down. And I'm staring in the mirror like, who said that? And then I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm really like losing my shit here, because now I'm hearing this voice for the second time in my life. It is in the silence that God speaks to us. And yes, my mama is a gem. This is you too, Art, Judy. So I'm in there and he says, "You will write a book. It will be called Broken Stronger." And then, and I you could read this, you can read it, but I'm just going to tell you what happened. As I'm standing there, it was like a movie trailer or like screenshots or something, but super fast. All these flashes of all these pain moments in my life, being left on the gravel road, running away from home, my boyfriend, all the chapters, all the stories of the pain points that we have covered along the way. You know, my boyfriend getting pregnant or getting somebody pregnant, me coming back home, getting divorced, my dad dying, my stepdad dying, like all of these like pain moments, clear back from a little girl, are just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm still standing there with like toothpaste. I still have, you know, my neck is still raw, so I still have pain going on, but I'm like standing there and I'm able to see all these moments of pain just flash. And it's like it all surfaced and I just started bawling. Like it's almost like I realized I had just been living by breathing, but had kept so much feeling away. Like with so much pain, it was easier to just keep everyone and everything at a distance and just safeguard myself. And God allowed me to feel everything that I had been shoving down and packing down and swallowing and just holding in it. And it was tremendous. And the gift in that is he allowed me to see how strong I truly was. And when he said, "You will write a book, it will be called Broken Stronger," in that moment, he swooped up all of that pain that that just surfaced. And he like swooped it away. And this all happened probably in like seconds, but it felt like I was in there forever. And in that moment, I'm left like, what the hell? Like, what the hell just happened? I'm like bawling. I got toothpaste. I feel different. I literally feel different. I'm like a changed person in a moment. Like, what the hell just happened? And I end up texting my sister and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Sissy, like, you're not going to believe what happened. And what do you think? And blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Broken Stronger, you know, is that name taken?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, let me check." And the funny thing is I copyrighted it. I trademarked it right away because of course it wasn't taken. God gave it to me. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it, but I registered it. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing something here. But that was the start of a whole nother something. But my point here is God will allow you gifts that don't seem to be gifts. That moment that allowed every ounce of pain to surface was excruciating. It's almost like I felt being 8 years old and being left on that gravel road. I felt the moment that I discovered my boyfriend of all those years, you know, telling me he got somebody else pregnant. I felt my dad's life drifting away, you know, right in front of me in my sister's eyes. I felt the shock of hearing about my stepdad dying during surgery. Like I literally was feeling all of this, and I was feeling all the agony and all the pain of what I was living every day in this relationship that was rotting me from the inside out. It was slowly killing me. And toxic relationships will do that. I had 4 biopsies on 4 different parts of my body in 1 year. I was sick. But it wasn't cancers. It was this poison that was seeping inside of me every day. From hatred, jealousy, ugliness. It was almost like he was afraid of my ability to be successful. So when God started showing me the stage, the microphone, the impact, the message, and I started speaking up about it, my God, he was going to shut that down. Who the hell do you think you are? You know, that's so stupid. You know, nobody, it's like it was so ugly that I thought, God, how can you be giving me this vision? And how am I going to ever bring it to life when every time I try to mention it with the person that should be the most supportive is shutting me down? I was very conflicted. So let's listen to one more piece and then we'll get to the final pieces here.
I'm small, I'm unseen, yet your love lifts me high. From the darkness I surrender, with tears that fill my eyes. A melody's calling out, even when I can't see. Each note a step to freedom, a chance to truly be.
A chance to truly be. So what happened is I never told him about that experience in the bathroom. I couldn't. It was too special. He would have never understood, and he would have probably turned it into something ugly. And I know what I experienced, and I know how sacred it was. I know how special it was. I know how miraculous it was. I was there. I know that. And so I never even said nothing to him because I thought, I'm not going to let you poison this moment for me. So instead, I prayed constantly for strength. Now I'm starting to pray for me. Finally, I prayed constantly for strength, for clarity, for direction. We only had a stand-up shower, no bathtub, and it wasn't comfortable, but it was my refuge. I'd lean my forehead against the cool tile, steam blurring, you know, the shampoo labels and stuff like that. It just would get hot in there. But I would whisper, Jesus, make me brave. Jesus, make me brave. Guard my heart. Grow my calling. Please let me know what it is I am to do today and give me the strength to do it. Every day I would say, please just let me know what it is I am to do today and give me the strength to do it. The shower was the only place that I felt safe. Not only that, it was a place that I could let my own tears just flow, but I knew that they would get washed away. I didn't want my sons to see me cry, but I also knew that if he saw me cry, he wouldn't be sensitive about it. He would be a real ass about it. So the shower was the only place that I felt safe to just go cry. And I remember moments of begging and pleading in there. God, I don't deserve anything. I would literally say this. God, I don't deserve anything. I believe I'm rewarded for the work I do. And it's so funny to think this now because God is not a earn and reward. He's a believe and receive kind of God. But I didn't even feel worthy of his love then. I was so beat down. And so I would say I don't deserve anything. I know that I'm only rewarded for the work that I do. But God, I know I don't deserve to be treated this way. I knew in my heart was still pure. My intentions were good. No matter how much they could be twisted, no matter how ugly of a scenario could be painted that was actually genuinely pure. And I knew my heart. And there was only goodness in there. There was only love in there. And I just remember thinking, I know I don't deserve anything, but I know I don't deserve to be treated this way. And I began to pray, please change his heart. Please change his heart. My struggle was God was showing me these visions of what I was going to do, this calling that he was placing on my life. He was giving me glimpses. He even let me know that fitness stage, that place that I like motivated women and I pushed women to, transform themselves, that it didn't matter what stage I was on, that the work was going to be the same. It was still going to be transformation. It was still going to be pushing people to become more, to do more. He was showing me this, but he was letting me know that it was going to be a different kind of stage, basically a different platform. But then I was battling with him. I'm like, God, like you're calling me to this, but I can't even breathe that in my home. You're calling me to this greatness, and I can feel the tug in my spirit, and I know this is where you're pulling me. I know this is what I'm supposed to do, but he won't even hear of it. He won't support me. He calls me stupid. He makes me think that I'm being selfish and that it's my ego and all of this ugliness. How am I supposed to do what you're calling me to do? This was such a battle, and I would cry in the shower, and because I could feel the calling, but I was suffocated. That's why this chapter is called Called but Caged. I was in this cage. There was no freedom. I couldn't even share my thoughts. I couldn't share the dream. I couldn't share this beautiful vision that God was starting to show me, because it was ugly where I was. And so I prayed, please change his heart, because I will never be able to do what you're calling me to do. And God did change his heart, and he gave him a heart attack. And I say that because I'm confident that the reason that I am here and able to do the work that we are doing now, that I am able to come out and talk about the toxicity, the ugliness, the sex being used as a tool, the control, the manipulation. I'm able to talk about all that ugliness that I lived through because God called me here. And I'm actually able to say that I know that our soul contract was released because I would never be doing this work had he still be here. And I'm not afraid to say that. It doesn't make me a bad person to say that. It makes me stepping into what God has called me to do. So wherever you are in your life, no matter how much it doesn't make sense, no matter how ugly your own truth might seem, if you say it out loud, it's your truth. I still have people that don't appreciate me talking about this. I still have people that are very close to me that wonder, oh my God, there she goes again. Why she got to talk about that all over again? You know what? It's not for you. If you can wonder that, it's not for you. It's for that person crying in the shower. It's for that person that knows they're called for more, but have nowhere to go. It's for that person that feels caged and suffocated in their own home. It's for them. So if you can roll your eyes, you don't get it. If you can't support me, you don't need to. But somebody out there needs this. And I do know that when God started calling me forward and he could feel, you think God didn't know I wasn't going to feel that turmoil? You think God didn't know I wasn't going to feel that tug of war in my own gut, my own spirit? But God, this is my husband. He doesn't want me doing any of that, but I know that you're calling me to it. But every time I tell him, he tells me I'm stupid. God, am I stupid? Am I stupid for doing this? Oh my gosh, God, I want to talk about this with him, but I can't talk about this with him because then he's going to make me feel like it's all in my head. But am I honoring you, God, by keeping this a secret? Like, honestly, these were the thoughts in my head. It was chaos. And you think God didn't know that that wasn't going to happen? You think that he didn't know I was going to have to go through that? That is why he gave me that miracle of the blessing in my bathroom. That is why he was able to show me, my child, all that pain, all that hurt, all that agony, all those years. Watch what I can do. I'm going to swoop all that up and I'm going to take it away like that. But he did that, number one, to show me his power. He didn't have to prove nothing to me. He let me experience it. But number two, he had to make room. He had to make room for what was on its way, for what I didn't know was coming. Because if he'd have layered all of that on top of everything I had already packed down, clear back from a little girl, there ain't no way I would be here. I wouldn't even want to be here. So he allowed me to realize that moving forward, all the pain, all the heartache, all the loss, all the trauma, all the betrayal, all the lies, all the stuff that was still ahead of me that I didn't know, it was all good. It was all good. Why? Because God's got it. He already showed me. He's going to carry it. He's going to lift it for me. He allowed me that moment. So this is the hardest chapter for me. This is the place in my life I was the most conflicted. I was the most beat down emotionally. I felt less than our dogs. My husband made me feel less important than even our dogs. And I don't know how else to say that. I felt like trash. I felt like something that could just be disregarded, tossed aside, irrelevant, stupid, not important. Still somewhere in there, made to feel like I was full of myself. I was in the worst place emotionally, physically, spiritually, fighting for that spiritual strength. God knew I needed him. But this is the point. This chapter, called but caged, is the most conflicting. It was the hardest. And it's still a place that it's the place I became broken stronger. Even though God said you will write a book called Broken Stronger, it's the place I began the journey of becoming broken stronger. And so tonight's episode of the show, yeah, it's broken into pieces now. I'm going to have to go and piece it together to be able to put it on Roku. That's okay. But it's very important. And so as we get ready to wrap up, we have been here a while. I do want to go through the lens of God's love and also your crowned truth. And then we will wrap it up. So in this whole ugliness of this chapter, he does end up having the heart attack. And when we talked about the chapter Christmas Eve, maybe next week we'll go through that one all over again. I'm not sure. But yes, he does have a heart attack. Through the lens of God's love, I see that God was speaking even when I was too afraid to say yes out loud. The visions, the whispers, even the ridicule weren't cages. They were signposts pointing me back to his call. Through the lens of God's love, I know forgiveness isn't a bargaining chip to make someone change. It's the freedom God hands us so we can walk forward unchained. That's what forgiveness is. My prayers for him were not wasted, but God also taught me to pray for me. Through the lens of God's love, the toothpaste moment wasn't random, it was divine. God showed me that every scar had already been carried by Him, and the strength I felt wasn't mine alone, it was His. That strength only came from God. Through the lens of God's love, confusion doesn't equal absence. Even in the pause, even in the in-between, His hand stayed steady and His voice kept calling me forward. Even though God knew I did not understand this calling, I did not understand this tug in my spirit that He was pulling me towards, I didn't understand it. I didn't set out to do this work. I didn't decide one day, hey, I think I'm going to be a speaker. Hey, I think I'm going to create all these things. I think I'm going to write a book. I didn't set out to do that at all. God pulled me to it. So the crown truth here, when God calls you, no cage can contain you. Not fear, not control, not even your own doubts. His voice breaks through silence and breathes destiny into the places you thought were dead. When He plants vision in your heart, no man, no circumstance, and no season of delay can silence it. What He speaks cannot be unsaid. So trust that what God is telling you, what He speaks cannot be unsaid. Once God has said it, it is done. Consider it done. You might not know the journey. You might not know the path. You might not know how long, but it is done. What God speaks cannot be unsaid. Your obedience unlocks the next step. Your surrender activates the promise. You've got to get to that point. Your calling will not die just because someone tries to bury it. God's voice is louder than fear, abuse, or opposition. When He declares purpose over you, no man can cancel it. Because what He crowns, He carries. And this crowned truth is one of the most powerful that if you don't even highlight or read any of the others, I hope that in this chapter you will read that crown truth again and again and again. It's powerful. And when He was flowing through me, when He was with me while I was writing this is what He needs you to know. This is His crown truth, not mine. I don't know how to write these things. I don't know how to say, hey, this is what God is thinking. This is what I think God is saying. No, He was saying what He speaks cannot be unsaid. And that is powerful. But your obedience unlocks the next step. Do the thing. Just do the thing. You might not know how. You might not know when. You might not know where it's going to come from. But just do the next thing. And your surrender activates the promise. Let it go. Let it go. Give it to Him, and He will show you what's next. So as we close her out, I'm going to say our prayer over us, and then I'm just going to play you the full song. We didn't even go through all the clips tonight. That's fine. I knew this was going to be a heavy chapter, and it's kind of funny that this is the one that was cut off. Okay, this is the one that everything froze, and I couldn't even move my computer. I had to shut it off. So it's kind of funny that happened. I knew this was going to be a very, very hard chapter for me. Dear God, thank you for being present in both clarity and confusion, for the whispers, the visions, and even the pauses that test our breath. When our hearts feel caged by fear or broken by love, Let your presence be our freedom. When the silence gets loud, let your voice rise louder still. Give us courage to walk into the purpose you planted and grace to release what keeps us small. Shape our stories into something stronger, redeemed, and crowned by your love. In Jesus' name, amen. So guys, thank you so much for being here with me on this one tonight. Once I piece it all together and it's one continuous show, I will reshare it because this one's powerful. This one's powerful. This one is the deepest and the lowest of where I have ever been in my life, and yet the closest to God I have ever been. It's powerful. This moment in my life was the hardest and most beautiful. This was my transformation moment. And no, it didn't come easy. And yes, it took years to go through healing and to be able to be here to say these things out loud. So it was not easy and it was not quick. But it was through this time in my life that the emotional abuse was at its all-time high. I was broken to the most broken depth of my core, and yet God was calling me forward. And it's a beautiful thing. So wherever you are in your life right now, if you feel like you're in that broken place, seek him. Let him reach you. Let him love you. And it will all be okay. Surrender to him, and he will take it from there. I promise you that. All right, guys, have a good night. And here is the full song.
Behind these walls I wander, silence all around, whispers in the shadows where hope feels drowned. Locked inside this cage where fear weighs on my soul, a call igniting flames, a burning deep and whole.
With every prayer I breathe, I'm reaching for the light, but the weight of this storm holds me back at night. I see visions of freedom, of the life I long to know, yet my heart's locked in turmoil, unable to let go.
Oh God, can you hear my plea? I'm just a voice hidden, begging to be free. In the chaos of the night, can you make me whole? Plant a seed of purpose and mend my broken soul. Every stage I've dreamed of, where the light would shine, feels so far away as I linger here confined.
They mock me in the silence while I fight just to breathe, but you whisper in my spirit, making my heart bleed.
I'm small, I'm unseen, yet your love lifts me high. From the darkness I surrender, with tears that fill my eyes. A melody's calling out, even when I can't see. Each note a step to freedom, a chance to truly be. Oh God, can you hear my plea? I'm just a voice hidden, begging to be free. In the chaos of the night, can you make me whole? Plant a seed of purpose and mend my broken soul. Surrender to the rhythm I'm feeling you surround me, a divine embrace. Even in this struggle, you're planting hope anew, a flicker in the darkness. Every word is true. I'll rise from these ashes, from the pain that holds me tight, into the arms of healing. I'm ready for the fight. The storm begins to fade as I let your love in. Broken yet I'm stronger, where my journey begins.
With every